So in this third example, I've chosen ESOL, English for Speakers of Other Languages, and it's taken from the British Council ESOL Nexus materials and some materials that were created especially for prison learners. And this is the Healthcare Learner Workbook. And so this has been designed specifically for learners working independently. You can access these resources for free, and as I said earlier, I'll tell you all the places that you can get hold of resources at the end of this video. So if you're an ESOL teacher, you'll know the importance of ensuring all the learner's knowledge about the world is brought to the fore. So an image is used to great effect here to help learners to see that we're talking here about medicines, about healthcare. So they've got the words they need, getting healthcare, and then a picture so that they can check for themselves if they're on the right tracks. And it's English to help you get access to healthcare in prison. So this is not just about developing language confidence and abilities, but also navigating your life in prison. So I can see this being of real interest to prison learners. They could think about the fact that this would actually help them do something quite practical that they need. Just scrolling down, so there are some learning goals, so that learners have an idea of what they will achieve by reading through this pack. A chance for them to tick the services they already know about, and this is also a chance to introduce some of the key terminology required for accessing this material. And then they're given some realia. I just mean real life, everyday material. In this case, it's a healthcare information leaflet, and I think this is quite nice because it takes material that you would find every day in prisons and unpacks that and uses it as source material. I guess there's a debate to be had about sometimes in educational materials giving you a chance to take yourself out of where you are now, think about things that are a million miles away from life in prison. But equally, it's important that you are able to navigate the world that you're living in, and so this serves that second purpose. It's helpful to ensure that everybody has knowledge and access to healthcare that they need. It gives you a model. So in this first one, as a learner, you're showing what you might be expected to do here. So rather than have to make a lot of complex instructions about you need to fill in the answers on the line in the gap provided, it simply shows you what to do, and then the learners are expected to follow that model as they go through. Here's that leaflet. Obviously it's been simplified, and it contains some key ideas that you might need to be aware of. And then some comprehension questions, and again a model is provided as to what you're supposed to do, tick the right answer in this case. Some true and false questions, so mixing up the questioning type now and again providing a model for what you're supposed to do, and then some vocabulary check questions. It asks learners to think about the way they might find out more information if they're not sure. In this case, go to the library. Now, clearly that's not possible at the moment, but if they are lucky enough to have a trolley coming along with books, the kind of books that they might request, in this case, a dictionary. And then asking learners to consider how they might use some of this target language in a conversation with a listener. In this case, supporting mental health development. So I think that it might be a good starting point for you if you haven't already come across ESOL Nexus and the offender learning materials in there, or the prison learning materials in there. And there's an awful lot of material that you can draw on that has been designed specifically for the context that we're in at the moment. So So thinking back up to the healthcare example we've just had a look at, I've just added 2 more things to the list. One, the idea that we might provide some model answers so that we don't have to add too much by way of task instruction, which, especially if English isn't your first language, can be really difficult to absorb, to understand. And secondly, considering the context, do we want to do something about navigating your life in prison, or perhaps something that takes you outside yourself for a while could be really beneficial? And just by way of a second example, just to exemplify some of the points just made, this is another one of those ESOL Nexus packs. It's called Eating in Prison, and it's about reading canteen sheets and menus. Again, we've got a nice image at the start, which helps to activate the schema, your knowledge about the world before you enter a task. I think we'll add that to the list as well, so that's quite important for all learners. And in this example, they used realia again, in this case an example of a canteen. And also I think this is quite a nice example to show how presentational features can really help learners to navigate their way through a piece of independent learning material. So it says here sometimes you have to do some work outside your cell. You'd have to think about that at the moment. Perhaps ask them to think about that for the future, or change that one altogether. And if I just scroll down quickly, a couple of concept check questions at the beginning and a chance to check understanding of key terms that are used in this pack by matching images with the names of the food items.